Hey guys, Tiny Bryson here, and today I'm going to tell you exactly what do you do once you saved up your first $1,000. How do you actually put that money to work? What do you actually do with it? Because basically, when I saved up my first $10,000, I grabbed that money. I didn't know what to do with it, so I basically just bought some things that I didn't need and basically just wasted it. And according to Warren Buffett, okay, the first $1,000 is not that hard to get, but the first 100K is going to be very hard, and then the road to $1,000,000, well, that's when things actually get interesting. So now that you have $1,000, I want to tell you exactly, well, what can I do today to actually make sure I get to that 100K mark and also that $1,000,000 mark. And by the end of this video, I'll tell you everything that I absolutely know when it comes to how to put your money to work and what to do with that $1,000 that you actually have right now. And by the way, guys, if you guys are new to my channel, I post videos every single day on YouTube, so make sure to also subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified. On top of that, also destroying the like button. Now, let's get started, guys, okay? One of the most popular things when it comes to, hey, what do I do with my money? Is usually, hey, just put your money to work in the stock market. And in reality, I found out very early on that although the stock market is a very great investment, one of the best, right? It's not going to make you rich very quickly. It's not like, hey, I'm going to grab $1,000 today, and by the end of Monday, I'm going to have $1,000,000. Usually, it doesn't work like that. And if you do invest, for example, the right way into your Roth IRA, or for example, into your 401k, usually it's gonna take around 10 to 25 years to actually see your money actually become a lot of money in reality, right? So here is an example, guys, okay? Let's say, for example, I started out with $0. And by the way, this right here is called a compound interest calculator to calculate exactly how much money you'll have by investing in the stock market. And by the way, I have a link down below to my portfolio. And that way, if you want to, you can copy it and invest into exactly what I actually invest every single week. Now, let's say I invested $6,000 every single year. That's around $500 every single month. Now, I give this money 10 years to grow, and I'm making around 10%, right? Now, in reality, after those 10 years, I'll only have around $105,000. But if I did this for 25 years, that's going to be around $649,000. Although, look at this. Now, if I did it for 45 years, that's going to be around $4.7 million, which, if you ask me, is a ton of money. But by the way, I do want to clarify something, guys, okay? If all you did was invest $6,000 over 45 years, all you did was invest $270,000, but you got 4.7 million because, again, time, compound interest, and you allow your money to actually grow. So in reality, the way I see investing is basically, hey, if I put money in today and I invest it, for example, into index funds, the way that I do, link down below, the idea is in 10, 25 to actually 45 years, I'm going to see a lot of money there compounded and a lot of wealth for my retirement. And to me, that's awesome, right? But it's not the best way to actually make money right now with that $1,000, if you ask me. But I do believe every single time you actually get paid, you should put aside around $500, okay? Every single month, or for example, $115 every single week, or for example, $230 every single 2 weeks. That way, in time, you'll have a ton of money saved up for your retirement. So I do almost always recommend, hey, start investing today, and that way you won't have $8,000 saved up, but in reality, you'll have around $885, but you know for a fact your money is actually working for you, okay? And that's the goal there. Stock market investing the correct way is going to pay you off in the future. Not currently right now, but it is going to be 100% worth it. Now, number 2, and by the way, this is a very unpopular opinion here, but everyone says, no, I don't want to do this, but it is very important, and that's basically creating an emergency account. Now, I actually saw this guy once, guys, okay? And by the way, an emergency account is basically an account just for emergencies. Just in case something happens, you have the money to actually go out there and fix those problems. And by the way, there was this guy, okay? Late 40s or early 50s, I knew him very well, but not that well these days. People grow apart, you know how it works, right? But the idea is that this guy right here, he had a job, a standard job at a factory, but he also had a second job at his house where he actually lived. He was actually a superintendent in a building, and that actually gave him free housing here in New York. Well, actually in New Jersey. Now, Guess what happened, guys, okay? He was living paycheck to paycheck and everything was perfect. And I said, hey, maybe you should start investing, okay? Because although you're living paycheck to paycheck and everything is fine, you might never know what's going to happen. Nah, everything's gonna be fine, Tommy. Don't worry, it's been like this for a long time. Nothing bad is possibly going to happen. Well, a few months later, he got kicked out the building. He got fired from that job. Now, his paycheck to paycheck completely changed because basically he lost one source of income. On top of that, he lost free housing, meaning he literally had to quit that job, get a new job, a new apartment, and on top of that, he took the 401k investment that he actually had in there, liquidated it, and took that money, but he also got heavily penalized. So the idea is that although you might think, hey, things have been great for a very long time, things always happen and things always get in the way. So the best thing to do is possibly, hey, just save some money on the side. And I recommend you save around 3 months worth of expenses. In case you do lose your job, you're going to be fine for 3 months. That's around 90 days to go out there and basically find a new job, basically get a new apartment, or do whatever you have to do. But that way, you don't have to dip into your savings, or for example, go ahead and basically sell your investments, get taxes, penalized, and a whole bunch of things you absolutely do not want to do. So use that $1,000 to start off your emergency account. And it might not again pay you today, but it is going to save you a lot of money and headaches tomorrow. Now, number 3 is basically use that money to go out there and start a business. Now, I got a lot of hate and a lot of flagged because basically I made a video once saying, hey guys, the way I invest my money, I basically can get between 50% to 70% of my money every single year. And that's only simple interest, not compounded interest. And everyone said, Tommy, that's not possible. It must be something illegal. But in reality, it wasn't. I was just basically selling phones. And every dollar I put in, I basically got 50 cents back by basically selling phones and also buying things at Goodwill and then reselling them on eBay. The idea is, if you start a business, usually 9 out of 10 times you're going to get a better return than you would in the stock market and also in the real estate market. But there's also one more caveat to that, right? And the idea is that it does carry some risk. But because of the risk, if you do know what you're doing, you're going to earn a lot more money than you would, for example, in the stock market and also, for example, in real estate. And that's why when I wanted to make a lot of money, I basically said, hey, what can I do right now to start earning money? And just to clarify, when I asked myself that question, I made sure to say, hey, what can I do that the more I do it and the more effort I actually put in, I actually make more money? Because although if you work very hard, you do better than everyone else, right? And you're basically exceeding every single expectation. If you work at McDonald's, you're still gonna get paid the same $15 an hour. It won't make a single ounce of difference. And I always hated that when I had my job as a work study back in college. Like, no matter how hard I work, basically me and the other guy, the lazy guy, we still got paid the same paycheck. So I wanted to get something that earned me a lot of money based on my efforts and my work. And that's where flipping things, reselling sneakers, reselling cell phones, reselling things I found on Goodwill, all that stuff made me a ton of money. But for you, it could be, for example, hey, let me go out there, buy a camera. Maybe, for example, I want to take photography or real estate properties and basically earn money that way. Whatever you want to do when it comes to, hey, I want to start a business, look for 3 things. And these 3 things are basically something you're good at, right? I'm very good at YouTube. Something I like. I love creating content and teaching. Oh, 3. Also makes me money. YouTube also makes me a lot of money. But for example, hey, what do I like? I love singing and also eating pizza. Am I very good at that? No, not really. Am I gonna get paid money for that? No, not really. Then in reality, singing and eating pizza might just be a hobby, but it's not going to be a real business. And by the way, I get asked this question all the time. Tommy, do I borrow money to start my business? The answer is 9 out of 10 times, usually. No, because the risks are so high and also the odds are against you. So start your business with your own money, that $1,000. If you don't have enough, save more money, start off and start making money, but don't go out there and get into debt trying to basically start making more money. It's basically a very, very bad idea usually. Now, the 4th thing I recommend you do is this, okay? Pay off your high interest debt. Here's a good question. Tommy, do I invest my money or do I basically pay my debts off, okay? Great question. Well, the answer is usually very simple, right? Because if you do invest your money, for example, in the stock market, and you might earn 10%, well, the idea is that you also have taxes to pay, you also have inflation to consider, and on top of that, you also have expenses, right? Expense ratios, or maybe a 1% fee from your manager, which I don't recommend, but you'll get around a 7 to 6% return every single year. But your credit card is actually charging you around 18, maybe 13%, all the way up to 35% on a credit card. Your student loan debt between 4% to 8%. So do you ask me, Tommy, do I get a 6% return on my investment, or for example, pay 18% or 35% on my debt? The answer is very obvious. You want to go ahead and pay off that high interest debt. Now, easily, you can go on the App Store or the Play Store and download, for example, You Need a Budget or the Wine app, or for example, even, hey, Mint, or whatever apps there are out there when it comes to budgeting. But I like to keep things simple, and I don't like to give my information to then get better ads and all that stuff. You guys know, okay, when you put your information into Mint, they recommend you, hey, here's your credit card, here's this, here's that, because usually it's all affiliate marketing. Let's be honest here. Allegedly, okay? I don't want to get sued here. But overall, the way I do this is, if you want to pay off your debts, just organize your debts, right? From the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate. And then put them all on paying the minimum. On the credit card with the highest interest rate, just pay more money, extra money towards that one. Once that's done, move that money on to the next highest interest, and the next highest interest, and the next highest interest, and before you know it, you'll be done. And that's called the avalanche method of paying off your debt. It saves you a lot of money financially. If you want to do the Dave Ramsey version, it's basically, hey, pay the credit cards with the lowest balance. That way you build a momentum, but you don't save money on interest. It's up to you. By the way, budget apps are great. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's never exactly what I want. So I basically want to create my own budget, and that's why I also have this simple budget that I created. Also, link down below if you want to take a look at that. It's also an envelope budget, which are my favorites. Now, number 5, guys, upgrade your skills. No matter how much you love a job, if it only pays you $10 to $50 an hour, you can probably go out there and earn a lot more money. Usually, it's not going to be worth it, okay? I'm being honest here. So the answer is, just go on Google and type in, for example, hey, highest paying trade jobs, highest paying jobs with a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree or a master's degree or a PhD, whatever it is, and click the first link. And right here are jobs that pay you $80K. 65K, 54K, 55K, 50K as a plumber. The answer is all these jobs take less than 2 to 3 years to actually do, and they earn you a lot more than $10 or $15 an hour. The answer is that this way you can have a lot more money to actually go out there and invest more money and actually make more money. Sometimes, no matter how you slice it, $10 is still $10, okay? And by the way, guys, here's something I never told anybody. When I first started investing and also creating businesses and all that stuff, I grabbed around $100 to $200, and I said to myself, what can I buy with this that is gonna help me out a ton? And that was basically books. And I bought books in these 3 categories, okay? Books that are gonna change the way I think. Books that are basically gonna help me when it comes to business. And number 3, books that are actually going to help me understand human behavior and the way other people think, and also sales. For example, I bought The Richest Man in Babylon, The Millionaire Mind, also How to Make Money in Real Estate, How to Make Money in Business, How to Make Money with YouTube. All those books help me out a ton. And on top of that, How to Negotiate, Human Behavior, also the way anatomy works. I basically studied a lot of books to understand exactly why do we think the way we think, how does this business basically work, and then step by step I increased the way I think, which basically increased the amount of money I actually earn. You don't have to go to school if you don't want to, but it's the fastest way to go out there and make a lot of money, a lot more money than you make today, because basically a degree or a license basically says, hey, this guy can make, or this girl can make X amount of money now just because he has this piece of paper or whatever it is, or the training. So I usually recommend, if you have a job that makes $10 an hour, go out there, get a license, get a better job. That way you're good to go. And then grab some of that money and invest it into some books to help you out when it comes to, hey, what else can I do without actually going to school? There are 2 ways, school or books. You self-teach yourself, or you go to school and they teach you everything and you just walk out with a degree. It's up to you on how you want to do it, but making $10 an hour is still $10 an hour, no matter how you slice it. But guys, that is about it. Comment down below and let me know which one of these 5s are you going to do. Trick question, do all 5 of them, please. They're all gonna help you out a ton. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. If you like this video right here, well, like this video. On top of that, also subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified, so you get notified every time I upload a video. And if you want to text me or talk to me one-on-one, search my Patreon, link down below, or send me a DM on Instagram at Tommy Bryson. And on top of that, if you want to figure out exactly how to make $1,000 in the stock market in passive income, watch the video right here and click my face right now. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.